In the world today, neglect is the most common form of animal abuse. According to the ASPCA.org, there is approximately 7.6 million reports of animal abuse every year. The penalties of abusing an animal is a minimum fine of $400 up to a maximum of $5,000. 7.6 million companion animals enter the animal shelters every year. Although animals are not self-aware, they should still get the care that is required to thrive. It may not seem like it, but ignoring a pet is just as harmful as beating them. Animals are often neglected because the owner does not have enough time or money to support the animal's life. Common places to adopt animals are PetSmart, the ASPCA, and Fat Kitty City. What is the adoption process like?
How someone adopts a cat here?
Yeah.
Well, generally they come up, they find a cat they like. We encourage them to bring them into this room where they interact with the cat, decide if that's their cat. And then once they decide that, there's some simple paperwork they fill out, plus there's actually an application on an iPad they fill out. Fill out the application and take the cat home and live happily ever after. It's as simple as that.
What are the qualifications to be able to adopt an animal?
Well, if there are really no hard and fast rules. The only rule we ask of people renting that they have permission from their landlord. Other than that, we just kind of get a sense of whether these people are good people. I know that sounds arbitrary, but generally speaking, people coming to look to adopt a cat are good people. Now, if they just seem to be adopting a cat just to be adopting a cat and there doesn't seem to be any affection toward the cat, then we'd probably be a little more skeptical. That very rarely happens. So essentially, we're just looking for people that love cats, that want to provide a loving home for them for the rest of their lives.
Do all adoption centers have the same policies about their adoptions?
Well, we're Animal Outreach, which is a nonprofit shelter up in Diamond Springs, and we operate adoption centers at 2 or 3 different PetSmarts. So what I can say is all of the Animal Outreach facilities, centers which do adoptions through PetSmart follow the same policies.
Do a majority of the animals find a home on the adoption days?
Yeah, we've already had 2 today, 2 adoptions. We had 7 yesterday. So, and particularly during kitten season, we will sometimes have as many as 10 adoptions in a day. It all depends on foot traffic. Sometimes when the weather's bad or when it's really hot, no one's coming in the store. Or if they're not coming in the store, they're not seeing the cats.
Is there any follow-up process after an animal is adopted?
Not directly. When people adopt cats through us, if the cat gets sick in the first 30 days, they can bring it back to our shelter for a free vet check. Other than that, we assume that there's a problem, we'll hear from them. So no, there is no pro forma follow-up procedure. We don't call people and say how it's going. If we had the personnel and the volunteers, that would be a nice step, but we just don't have the personnel to do that.
If the absence of care towards pets continues, these animals will be living with the absolute minimum amount of resources for the rest of their lives. Pets are supposed to be for companionship and friendship, not for abandonment. In order to put a stop to this problem, we need to establish laws and regulations that would require breeders and adoption centers to perform background checks for new pet owners. This will help minimize the amount of abuse reports per year, knowing that these animals will be going into safe and loving homes.